Hello everyone, this is Lance back with another Mahjong tips video. So today I'm going to talk about a defensive technique called sliding. To be frank, I think I should have put this much later and done something more mainstream like Pong Pong or Qing Yi Se. But I think those concepts require a lot more preparation. They are although they are mainstream concepts, the thinking behind it is very complicated. So I need a lot more time to prepare for Pong Pong and Qing Yi Se. So in the meantime, while I find time away from work and mahjong to prepare for those big ideas, okay, let me distract you with this concept called sliding. So you don't have to wait so long for the next mahjong tips video. Okay, so first let me explain the basic concept of sliding. um let's say you got this hand waiting 四七筒, you got like maybe you 吃 or 碰 twice already lah, and you got tie somewhere. Okay, could be like maybe you 碰 红中 or something. Okay, then you draw 4-1. So I think many players will realize that you can just discard E1 and keep the 4-1, because 4-1 is more towards the center and is more dangerous than E1. By discarding E1 and keeping 4-1, you actually still 听牌 on the 4-7筒. Okay, the difference between discarding E1 and 4-1 is that E1 is more to the corner, while 4-1 can be part of both E4-1 or 4-7-1 with, so it's more dangerous. Okay, so that is the general idea. If you throw E1 and you draw 5-1, you can continue to slide towards the center by discarding E1, and therefore you keep the more dangerous middle tiles. Okay, I mean you use up the dangerous middle tiles and still be able to 听牌. Okay, but if before you just automatically discard E1, you need to think about other factors, okay, like whether this E1 is actually more dangerous than 4-1 in some cases. Okay, for example, in Singapore Mahjong, if you reach somewhere middle in the game and E1 still hasn't come out before, if you discard E1, you could actually feed gang. Then you feed gang, you have to pay money. But if 4-1 come out before, you throw 4-1, you don't feed gang. So actually you might want to discard 4-1 instead, because E1 has a danger of feeding gang or maybe feeding Pong Pong. Okay, if E1 hasn't come out before. And it could be worse, like maybe E1, someone is doing 混妖九 and then you throw E1 and then you feed big hand. Okay, or even worse, maybe someone doing 13妖 then you throw E1 and feed. Okay, so there are other things to consider lah. It's not as simple as just slide your hand towards the middle. But in general, sliding your hand towards the middle is in most situations that is the right thing to do lah. Okay, so I explained what is sliding already. The next few slides will be a bit confusing if you are just a casual player. But I believe in my viewers, so I'm going to explain. Okay, I hope my explanation will be good enough so you understand. Okay, so let's say you got this hand. Okay, I'm sorry. You're missing one tile. Okay, so let's say you have one extra irrelevant tile. Okay, then your 上家 discard 三锁, and you need to eat the 三锁 to 听牌 on 4-7-1. But there are two ways you can eat the 三锁. You can eat with 1-2锁. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, or you can eat with 2-4锁, then 2, 3, 4. Either way, you will 听牌 on the 4-7-1. Okay, so what's the difference? To a normal mahjong player, there will probably be no difference. The person will just eat whatever he feels like eating. Either way, it's 听牌 anyway. Okay, but if you understand the concept of sliding, right, then there is a difference between eating 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's say you eat 1, 2, 3, then you will be left with 2, 3, 4 in your hand, right? 2, 3, 4. You 听牌 on 4-7-1. Okay, in this case, your hand can slide to either 1锁 or 5锁. Okay, if you draw 1锁, you can discard 4锁. If you draw 5锁, you can discard 2锁. Okay, so if you think about whether to decide which one is the tile that you want to slide towards, like why would you not discard 1锁? Maybe wait, sorry, you got 1锁in your hand already. Okay, so I was thinking of feeding gang, but then you can't feed gang. So maybe 一锁 is someone doing 混妖族 or something. Okay, then 无锁 would be, I think normally 无锁 would be more dangerous because like if the upper 锁子 don't really appear, then someone might be waiting 五把锁. Okay, so if 无锁 is dangerous, you might want to keep this shape because if you eat the other way and you draw 无锁, you still have to discard 无锁 to 听牌. Okay, compared to this case, if you eat 1 2 3 and you draw 无锁, you can throw 二锁 and you can keep the dangerous 无锁 and still 听牌. Okay, if you eat the other way 2 3 4, then you'll be left with 1 2 3 in your hand. Then the only thing you can slide this towards is 四锁. You can draw 四锁 and discard 一锁. Okay, then in this case, the difference with the previous case, right, would be like if you think that 四锁 is particularly dangerous, maybe most of the two-sided weights have appeared except for 四七锁. Okay, so you think that 四锁 would be very dangerous, so you might want to keep this shape so that if you draw 四锁, you can discard 一锁 and then still 听牌. Okay, so basically you need to do some judgment. That's why I say I should have done this maybe much later because I don't think many players would think so much when they are playing Mahjong. Yeah, so you need to think about like whether 无锁 is more dangerous or 四锁 is more dangerous, and then you keep the corresponding shape in your hand such that you can slide to accept the dangerous tile in your hands, and you can keep the dangerous tile and throw something else such that you can still 听牌. Okay, the next example is similar, so I won't go through so much in detail. So if you got this hand, one more irrelevant tile. So if the 上家 throws 四锁, you can eat with either 2 3 4 or 4 5 6. Okay, if you eat with 4 5 6, you'll be left with 2 3 4 in your hand. Then you can slide this towards 无锁, okay, or 一锁. So in this case, 一锁 might fit gang, right? So you consider whether it's worth keeping this shape such that you can retain 一锁 or 无锁 and then still be able to 听牌. Okay, then if you eat the other side 2 3 4, you will be left with 4 5 6. This one can slide towards 3锁 or 七锁 and still 听牌. Okay, so you look at the discards, think about what are the most dangerous tiles that you want to retain in your hand. Okay, then you think about what shape you want to keep such that you can retain the dangerous tiles and still 听牌. Okay, one last example. Okay, I'm going to split this example into Richie Mahjong and Singapore Mahjong. So I'll start with Richie Mahjong first. In Richie Mahjong, there's this thing called 弹摇. 弹摇 means you have no 1-9 or 自拍 in your hand. Okay, so the problem with this hand, although it's 1 shanten, which means 1 away from 听牌, okay, there's a E1 in your hand, so you have no 弹摇. Okay, in some cases, maybe it's like 南风 already and you are leading. Okay, you don't want to commit yourself to a Richie with a shit Kalong weight because once you Richie, it's a shit hand, shit weight, and you have no room for defense. Okay, so you can get more flexibility by changing the hand to 弹摇, but for 弹摇you need to get rid of the E1. Okay, so there's a blind spot for many Richie players when the 上家 discard 4-1. Okay, when the 上家 discard 4-1, they don't realize that they can eat this 4-1 and discard E1. Okay, because it's not natural. People don't know that. People can't tell that they can, like, if you tell someone hey, you can eat 4-1 and throw E1, then they'll be like, huh? Can man? Isn't that illegal? Okay, but in this case if your 上家 throw 4-1, you can take the 5-6-1 and eat the 4-1. Okay, and that will leave you free to discard E1, and you will still maintain the maximum 1 shanten shape. Okay, so that is very good, right? Because like once you eat 4-1, right, you are free from the E1 and you can do 弹摇 already. Then your hand become very flexible. Maybe you can draw something to and then you can pong instead of keeping all the Kalong. Okay, you can draw a pair and pong. Okay, so that's for Richie Mahjong. Okay, for Singapore Mahjong, I think this use is much more limited. Okay, the only thing I can think of is like maybe this is quite late in the game maybe left only less than 4 draws, maybe a few draws, and you want to defend already, you give up already because you can't 听牌 mah. It's already the last few draws. So if the 商家 discard 4-1, right? Okay, of course you can follow 4-1 then it's safe mah. But you might want to do something sneaky, like you see some guy with a big hand, or maybe like you know that the person shows sign of being in 听牌 for very long already. Then if you leave the draws to its natural order, the person who 听牌 might the person who 听牌 maybe has the 海底 draw. Okay, so you want to deny that person of the 海底 draw, right? You can 吃 to shift the order. So if your 上家 discard 4-1, okay, you can do something a bit weird. Then you can take the 5-6-1 and 吃 and then discard 1-1. Okay, if there's already 1-1 on the table. So last video I talked about how 4-1 being safe will make 1-1 relatively safe, provided it's not like 单调 weight or 双碰 weight. So there needs to be some 1-1 on the table lah. So all you can do is maybe change the order and block people from high T. Okay lah, so very limited use of this in Singapore Mahjong. Okay, so but you get the idea that this kind of hand you can slide towards the center as well. Okay. Okay, so that's all for this concept of sliding. Okay, I'll need some time to prepare. I think the next video will probably be on Pong Pong. So I'll find time away from work and Mahjong to prepare. So thank you everyone for watching. Okay, thank you for your support. Bye bye.